Welcome, guys. Today we are talking about astrotheology. If you don't know, astrotheology is an interpretation of religious texts from the perspective of astrology, astronomy, seeing the correspondences. Today I'll talk about the Jews and their 400, 40 years through the desert. And it's an interpretation of the astrological ages actually that makes sense. Okay, so guys, so I'm just going to use a whiteboard here. So let me see if I can turn the mic up a little. I guess not. So let's look at. We're going to use just a really rough picture here. It looks like I'm backwards. Can I flip this around? Well, you're going to have to interpret it backwards. All right, so guys, if you don't know, so this is the zodiac. This is the cross, right? The cross is when you see the cross, it's a zodiacal. It's a symbol of the zodiac. Okay, so if we just go here and we look at the way the zodiac is normally laid out, you got Aries, Taurus, and so forth, Gemini, on and on and on. But we're just going to focus on these because where we are right now in terms of the ages is right here, entering into the age of Aquarius. Okay, now I'm going to explain to you why the Jews 40 years in the desert was actually the ages of Aries through Pisces. Okay, but understand they knew that this is all based on astrology. Okay, it's very clear once you see the correspondences. So if you don't know about the ages are based upon precessional slippage. Okay, and this is you. By the way, this isn't just astrology. This is astronomy. Like, why is it that if we measure at the same time and day every year, the exact precise time, look at the horizon or the same point, why is that point change just a little bit? And over time, over about 2,000 some years, you have an entirely new zodiac sign right there. Why is that? It's called precessional slippage. Okay. So over time, the ages slip. Now, planets go this way, right? The precessional slippage goes the other direction, right? And that's why the ages actually go, or epochs, as sometimes it's referred to, they go backwards, right? And that's why we had the age of Taurus. In the age of Taurus, what did we have? We had the Torah, the golden calf, right? All the stories about now what it came after Taurus. Aries, the age of Aries. That was very Roman times. That's Moses, right? Everything was red. Moses, everything was red, blood, manly, war, aggression, right? That was the age of Aries, right? Age of Pisces, Christianity, right? Ruled over by Jupiter or Neptune right? Very expansionary. Look at how population expanded. Crazy during the age of Pisces. And now we are entering into the age of Aquarius, ruled over by Saturn or Satan. Okay, so when you see Satan, understand it's a very real thing. Now, don't freak out because Satan is actually it's contractual, right? It's resistance, right? And you'd see this if you knew your personal astrology. You would see this in your own chart. Like, you would be like, holy cow, that's reality right there. Like, you'd see where it is. You would see where you've had resistance in your life, blockage in your life. shrink. It's like, but over time in your personal chart, and when you start to 35, 40, you have what's although you have something that would have been a weakness as a child as growing up, something that's going to become a very, very strong strength when you as you get older. It's like a lifelong strength that's developing, that you've been fighting this resistance your entire life, and you finally, around the age of 40, begin to break through that resistance. Okay. But, anyways, that's personal astrology. We're going to focus on the ages here. Okay. So, again, so we've been in here the last 2,000 years. This was the birth of Christ right here. This was when they rebooted the calendar system. That was this right here, right there. All right, and then we entered into the Pisces. You see that fish symbol. It's actually two fishes, but normally you see this fish symbol, right? Now we're going here. Okay, so we're talking about the Jews in the 40 years. That was a little primer on the ages. Okay. If you don't get the ages, you need to study that in depth because that's very foundational. Go back and study that if you don't understand it. Okay. All right. Given that, though, right, you can see where going from the age of Taurus, when the Torah was written, right, and we studied the Torah, they knew, I believe, at that time that there was going to be they knew there was going to be roughly around 4,000 years of difficult times for their people. They understood that they were energetically aligned with Saturn. Okay, I believe that the Jewish mystics understood this. Okay, they understood that Jupiter and Saturn are kind of like opposite energies, guys. Okay, Jupiter is expansionary, and let's just focus on this as how much sense it makes. Just in the design of a world, you have an energy that comes through and says expand, expand, expand this, expand this, expand this, expand this, expand this. And then you have another energy that comes through and says, no, contract that, divide that up, organize that, right? That's why they call Saturn Father Time. Saturn or Satan is a divider. It gives you resistance, but also makes you strong in a certain area too. In the same light, see, it also creates strength, right? Via that resistance, you have to fight against it. You're supposed to fight against it. Okay, that resistance. Okay, but Jewish people are energetically aligned with Saturn, and you see this in their ceremonies. I'm not going to go into that today, but I think they knew that. I think the Jewish mystics understood this, and so we're going into, well, we've been through. So to me, their desert is essentially this right here. So when they said 40 years in the desert, I believe that was a prophecy of the roughly 4,000 years, right? Going through the age of Aries, ruled by Mars. Because again, that Aries energy is not very friendly well, it's not totally whatever, right? The Aries energy is not exactly aligned with Saturn, but it's not, but it's more of a personal planet. But definitely they knew this Jupiterian Neptunian age was coming, and they knew that wasn't their energy. That's not their strength. But they knew after that, Jewish people, the Jewish mystics, I believe, knew after that, they knew that Aquarius and Capricorn, right? Sorry, my marker's not working. The next two ages, the age we are entering into now, this age of Aquarius and the age of Capricorn, they knew that these two ages are ruled over by Saturn. The energy of Saturn is Lord now. And yes, that means what you've been calling Satan is indeed Lord. Don't freak out. It's just reality. You've been living in it. Okay? It's not I can imagine a Christian who is where I used to be. I can imagine the freak out that might happen, right? When you heard that. Okay. So I believe the Jewish mystics knew though that these two ages, these are the this is this is their time. When they say they're God's chosen people, this is their time. Understand that. Understand it as you look out into the world and you look at what's going on. You look at who's, yes, dare I say it, who's in charge of things. You know, not even supposed to say that, right? I don't particularly like that, but we're looking at it not from like an angry standpoint. We're looking at it from more of an academic standpoint, right? Yes, they are in charge of things. And guess what? They're going to be more in charge of things as this goes, right? Like I said, we're right here, guys. We're right here. Okay. And we're just creeping into this age of Aquarius. All right. And so it's just getting started. So, guys, if you're a Jewish person, congratulations. The next 4,000 years looks good for you and your people, right? If you're a Christian, you know, I'd say that there's some we need to Christians. I was a Christian, right? I still kind of hang around Christian communities a little bit, but the age of Pisces is over, guys, and you need to understand that to function, right? You need to understand that because otherwise you're just going to be traumatized with what's going on in the world. We're entering into a Jewish age, a Saturnian age. Okay, it's going to be a contracting age. It's going to be a divisive age. Isn't that what we're seeing? People being divided up into groups, probably geographically too. Okay, but knowing this, guys, makes you aware that it's the world. It's the world that's doing this, right? This is part of the design of the world. And when you see that, there's peace of mind in that this is the design of the world. Okay. So that's like the one takeaway I really want everyone to get, right? There is order to this world. The world itself has its own cycle. Okay. It has its own cycle. We're in it. You can fight it. And it may be your role to fight on a micro level, but if you're going to fight it, I would recommend being conscious of this first. Matter of fact, being conscious of this will help you if you want to resist that, if you want to fight for Christianity and all that stuff. Just understand the battle that you're getting yourself into. Right? Just understand the battle because you're battling against. But now I will say, what's after Capricorn? Sagittarius. Right? Man, this marker really sucks. Sagittarius comes after Capricorn. So after two Saturnian ruled or Satan ruled ages, we enter into Sagittarius. That will almost definitely be a Jupiterian time. Okay. Now, just to show you something though, that's cool because we've been talking about the ages. Now let's shift over to the yearly cycle of the sun. What's weird about doing this way, and everyone does the zodiac this way, is we're putting the bottom on top, which is a whole nother thing to ponder why we're doing that. This is actually this is actually winter. I'm sorry, wait, hold on. I'm sorry. This is backwards and upside down is actually what it is. So the sun, as the sun goes around, right? This is fall entering into winter, right? So what's funny about all this is that, well, look, you got an age of illusion and expansion, the age of Pisces. Now you got an age of network connection and an age of control, right? Ruled by Saturn, Satan, right? And then, but they should be contracting. I believe the population will also contract. Okay, and then you hit here, boom. After that, it's just like winter. It's just like winter when we go through winter, and we cross this point, and that's when Jesus is born, right? December 25th or 21st. Right? That's when Jesus is born. Why? Because now the days are getting longer. Now we're getting more and more sunlight. So if you understand this, which really should be on the bottom, but now that the age is going backwards, we're having two contracting ages. And then as soon as we cross that same point, boom, now it's like, oh, there's going to be this release. Like, oh, we've had enough control. The world is all network connected. We've had enough control, right? Now we're going to go back to that Jupiterian expansion, right? Philosophy. We're going to be philosophers in the age of Sagittarius, right? It's not going to be the same illusionary Christianity. By the time we get there, I bet you everyone's going to know what I'm teaching right here. That's what I think, right? Or else it'll be budding and growing along the way, right? What I'm teaching right here is going to grow until we get to the age of Libra, here, okay? This right here, guys, you guys, if you're listening to this, you are the seeds. I am, you are, we are the seeds of what's to come in the beautiful age of Libra. I'm not even going to draw it. When everything is balanced, when everything is like, now everyone's got knowledge, everyone will be mostly equal. All this equality stuff that people strive for, right? It'll just be automatic. It'll just be here. We'll just have it, right? We'll be palm readers and astrologers and all the knowledge and the truth. When I say truth, I mean people will be fully objective. We'll all listen to each other. That's what the age of Libra is going to be like. Okay, but that's a story for another day. All right, guys, I kind of went off on tangents, but again, the whole thing about the Jews and the Jewish thing is that we are now in a Jewish age, Saturnian ruled age, and yes, sorry, Saturn is Satan, yes, and I'm sorry for the implications that implies, but it's just it's more real than I think people know. Like you're already living it, so don't freak out, right? You've been living it if you've been alive. You've been here, you've been alive, you've been living it. Okay, it's contracting, dividing, organizing. It's the world has its own cycle. Okay. Let me know what you guys think. All right. Let me know what you guys want to learn about. I'll teach more of this stuff. Okay. I'll talk to you soon.